And that's something I don't want to act like that's something that I've done a great job with throughout the years. I would say that's something that I am within the past year or two getting better at. But that's where I dropped the ball a lot throughout the years, was just not carving out that time for, whether it's reading scripture or, of course we'd pray before meals and things like that. But my wife really, really wanted me to be the spiritual leader of the family. And it's, with business, you're like, so tired or just stressed, or just to be able to kind of enter into that space and really take the lead and kind of break up the, hey, let's just kind of veg out after a long day, scroll social media or whatever. But that's something that I've really tried to emphasize the past, year, particularly the past couple of months, is just, making sure that we're reading scripture together as a family most nights, and that even when it seems like the kids aren't paying attention, even when it's a struggle, to get them to be still long enough to listen, or sometimes it feels like more of a frustration. It's like, hey, I'm trying to read here, like you guys keep, picking on each other or whatever. It's like, but just throughout consistency again, I'm starting to see, one thing I'll do, we'll read a chapter and then I'll kind of ask them some questions, or like, hey, fill in the blank, what, and sometimes it's the ones that I didn't feel like were listening, that they got the answer or whatever. So it's like that kind of like train up a child in the way they should go. When they're old, they will not depart from it. It's giving them that foundation. So I encourage all
do this daily or?
Yeah, not daily. We try. I mean, the most, I would say maybe 3 to 4 times a week is kind of what, what we're at right now. But
I think you're describing every father out there, man. I mean,
it's a struggle
for sure, dude.
It's a struggle.
Going back to the, trying to put a mask on what you're doing. We have so many spinning plates that we're trying to keep up that, the moment we try to, put our attention over here, we're making sure this doesn't fall here, we don't let go of that. And sometimes you just have to let the plate shatter and just
sometimes as men, we can be so passive and just take the path of least resistance.
That's for sure.
And then
100%. Man.
And then unfortunately, then that responsibility falls on our wives, because they want, our Christian wives, they want the kids to have that spiritual foundation. They want to be in church. They want to be, having that time with God. And, if we're passive and just, taking the path of least resistance, then we're just putting an extra weight on them to have to take up that responsibility. So I think trying to be active and proactive and, lead, is something that, men struggle with. And it's, we can take the path of least resistance. Like, oh, okay, she's got it. She's doing it. I'm just going to sit back. That's not the way, I don't believe that's the way that God called us to be as men.